Okay, this video here is going to show you how to make a quick and easy ambulance. So I'm going to start by just kind of doing a general outline of some of these designs here. I'm going to do this using the polyline tool. It is the most flexible. The curve tool is nice for doing some curved work, but just for the sake of speed, I'm going to go with the polyline tool. Okay. All right. So I'm going to connect these together. And then when I get to these curvy part, I'm just going to do more clicks to maintain that general curve that's going on in there. Getting close to having this major shape done. So you don't have to click as much when you have kind of like these long straight lines like this. Go back. And that's our basic shape there. Okay. And that connects our ambulance. So I think this looks pretty good. I might make a little small adjustment here. If that looks better. Okay, great. Now I'm going to make this transparent. And what we want to do now is do a couple more shapes here. So I'm going to do this shape here on top. We'll go back to the same spot, close the shape. Make it transparent. I'll actually double click so that I can adjust this point a little bit. All right, now I'm going to bring this on down. But overlaps with the body of the ambulance here. And I'm liking the way this looks. So at this point, I'm thinking, what is the best way to print this? So now that I'm thinking about that, there might be a better way to go about doing this. I think this will be okay. Designing it like this, and I'm just trying to figure out the best way to add in these wheels. So I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking. All right, we're going to take a box here. I'm gonna go here to take a rectangle. And actually, we're going to basically forget what I just did about these kind of curves here. So I'm thinking about the final 3D model and the best way for it to print. So I'm going to drag a rectangle over this area here. I am going to make that transparent. Now I'm going to get circle. I am going to put the circles where they would be. More or less. I'm holding down Shift to nudge it just a little bit. All right, now I'm going to do Control D, duplicate, and I'm going to put this over here with the other one. Hold down Shift to kind of nudge it over. All right, so I think that is pretty good. I am going to end up maybe flattening this a little bit. We bring the Tinkercad, but we'll go ahead and decide when we get in there, okay? So let's go ahead and make these transparent. See what we got. So in this case, this one looks a little bigger than we need. Just bring that in some. Same thing with this one here. All right, so now it is time to get rid of our reference image. I'm just gonna drag it to the side and press delete. And this is our general shape here. So I'm going to bring this on down so it overlaps a little bit. This looks pretty good. I think I want to add in kind of like where that window is. I think I do want to add that. So we'll have to do a second export then. But let's see if we have a shape here that kind of mimics that first. Yeah, luckily we do. So we have this here. Now I'm just going to flip it where it goes to arrange, rotate, flip horizontal, and then we sort of have this window shape here. Yeah, I kind of like that. So if I'm going to add in here, it's going to be a little line in here just to close this up a little bit. All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm gonna double click in here to make a few small adjustments. Bring this down a little bit. Make sure these overlap. Zoom in some. Double click. Want to make sure this overlaps correctly. Bring that down. All right, you don't have to even add this part, but I thought it would be a nice touch. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure these are transparent. Now I'm going to zoom out. I am going to temporarily delete these, and I'm going to export all of this. So I'm going to call it ambulance minus window. I'm going to export this out by going to download as scalable vector graphic. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I exported that out. Now I'm going to undo, and I'm going to click everything else and get rid of that. And now I'm going to just export this out and call it ambulance window by going to File, Download as Scalable Vector Graphic. Okay, now once you've done both of those things, you can undo if you just want to have access to everything again in the future if you want to make any changes. All right, so now we're going to return to this, but inside of Tinkercad. Okay, inside Tinkercad, I am going to go to Import, choose SVG, and then find my SVG files. I'm going to scale this down to about 20% because I know it's going to be big, really big otherwise. So I'm going to start with this window here. There's our window. Looks nice. And now I have my ambulance minus the window, scale down to 20%. Import. Here's my ambulance. So I am going to scale this on the Z-axis first. That's a pretty good size. Now I'm going to rotate this. Move it over. So this should be at least the same. So that was 88. So I'll make it a little bit longer. I'm gonna rotate this. I'm holding down Shift to do exactly 45-degree increments. I am going to kind of nudge this into place. And I'm going to nudge it over like that. Using the arrow keys to make this a little bit longer. This is going to be a hole to put in our window. I'm going to hold down Control and up arrow key to nudge this up and nudge it back. All right, so let me see how this is looking. Let me turn on orthographic really quick. Get an accurate look. I'm using the up arrow key and Control to nudge up, and then I let go of Control to nudge it in the other directions. All right, so I like the way this looks. Maybe take this down a little bit more. All right, yeah, that looks pretty good. So now I'm gonna make this a hole. I am going to group these together. And now here is our ambulance. Okay. There is our ambulance. Now, what we can do now, we can add a few small details. I think we're going to go ahead and print this right side up the way it is. So we can add a few more things to make it look a little bit more realistic. So we can start by doing like some little headlights. So let's just take like a box here. We're going to change snap grid back to 1. Can be like some lights here. Control D, duplicate. Let's that on over. Now I'm going to nudge it in just a little bit because I don't want it to spend too much effort trying to add extra supports for these. I only want to stick it out just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. So it is going to build supports for this base part and then for the window, which is, well, it's okay. Actually, I have a better idea to do even better. So I'm going to ungroup this. We're going to make 2 of these. So I'm going to duplicate it and then nudge it over. So it's only going to really do just a tiny bit of a little indent here. So you just kind of get the hint that there's a window there. So turn on transparency. To kind of see where this is kind of coming in. All right. Okay, that looks pretty good. So it's only going to cut in a little bit here. It won't have all this extra support material. All right, great. So I can turn the transparency off now. I am going to make this white for the vehicle. So now we still have the hint of a window, but we don't have the full window. We could do something similar here if we really wanted to, but we're not. Grab a box here. I almost want to have a separation between the lights here on the ambulance. Now, you can decide if you want to do this or not. You may not want to. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do this. Oh, I didn't group this. So let me go ahead and group these lights first. Now I'm going to take this, or a line, all right, going to translate this up. Back. And control. Then you can decide whether you want to kind of keep this here as one piece. You may want to. If that's the case, you can ignore this part. I think I want to group these together. There'll be a little space in between. I don't know. See how that looks. Oh, matter of fact, I won't do it. Let me just delete it. Now, maybe a couple other small things to add in to make it look more like an ambulance would be to put like a cross on here, or to be kind of like that line that sort of looks like on the machine when the machine is reading your pulse. But probably the easiest thing to do is to put on that cross. So let's go ahead to top view, orthographic. Box really quick. Something like duplicate. Rotate 90 degrees. Got a group them. We can nudge this on up. Nudge it on over to the side. That looks pretty cool. Only one sticking out a tiny bit. You don't need to stick out a lot, so something like this will work. We want to do it on the other side too. So I'm going to Control D, duplicate, and nudge it on over. All right, so that looks pretty good. And there we have it. There is your ambulance. Okay. And like I said, if you really felt ambitious, you want to make it all inside of Tinkercad, you could absolutely do that, and I'll support you with it. But if you like kind of doing it in Google Drawing, and then kind of bring in already having kind of like that silhouette, and kind of making that exact same silhouette in Tinkercad takes a bit more time and effort. So it's pretty much up to you, kind of how you want to go about doing this. But I think most people seeing this will kind of understand that this should be an ambulance. Okay. Actually, I want to add in 2 more things, just because I'm a little picky. So I'm going to bring this on over, bring this on down, zoom out a bit, translate, and drag this. It's taking too long. Going to align. Of course, I need to fix this because we can't have this being below the work plane. It's in flat. So let's go to the front here. Zoom on in. All right, that looks good. We just nudge this on over. All right. I'm just gonna do like a window for the back. I think that makes it look a little bit more authentic. A little bit smaller here, then duplicate. Want to try to emulate this on both sides, right? Make it look more accurate. Okay. And there's our opening for our windows. Okay. Actually, now that I think about it, it'd probably be cool to do kind of the same idea. Some of these other things too. Well, I'll leave these lights alone, but I will go back to some of this other stuff here. I'm actually gonna make them all holes. All right, so I'm gonna make this a hole. It's a hole. Make this a hole. That a hole. Maybe not. To make some adjustments here. Before, it looks for it to stick out a little bit. I want it to just stick in a little bit. We're going to go the opposite way. That should be better. Now I'm going to regroup everything. And now this looks pretty nice. Okay, so there is your final ambulance. I hope you enjoyed this.